It's your boy, Amreezy, and I'm back with another Sorare guide video where I've started making these little videos here and there. I'm collecting them on my YouTube. They're under, if you go on my homepage on the channel, there's a little section that says Sorare Guides where I'm making a few videos basically based on whatever people are asking me. As someone who's been playing Sorare for about 2 years now, maybe a little over than that, I know a little bit. I've picked up a few things. I've been making videos for a little bit on Sorare, and people ask me questions on places like X, Discord, YouTube comments, those kinds of places. And I welcome those questions. Keep those questions coming to me on any of my socials sites. Send me questions. I love helping people, answering questions. I'm happy to help. But one of the questions that I've been getting recently, which I thought I'd make today's guide video on, is which cards to start off with. And I'm going to split this video into two parts, two chapters, if you will. There'll be YouTube chapters. I'll put chapters in the thing. Don't worry. All videos made on the Amreezy channel, they're professional. They're slick. We put chapters in our videos. Don't worry. So there's going to be two chapters to this video. I think one chapter is going to be, should you start with in-season cards, which are new Sorare cards, or should you go with classic cards, which are old Sorare cards from previous seasons gone by? That's one question. Should you go in season or classic? The second part of the video is going to be which league should you play in? There's so many competitions on Sorare. There's the Belgian league, there's Dutch league, the Premier League. You can play in MLS. You can play in regions like Contender, which is leagues such as Brazil or these kind of leagues, Croatia, the Championship, or you might want to play in the Scottish League, which comes in under its own section. So there's so many leagues that Sorare cover. It can be a bit daunting, and I get a lot of people asking me, where do I start? So we're going to split the video into two sections. Do I go in season or classic, or which league do you start off with? Before that, if you've never played Sorare before and you're curious and you're watching this video because you're thinking, I want to start playing Sorare, but I'm just getting all my information together. I'm just getting data. I'm just getting information. If you've never played Sorare before and you're in that position and you would like to try Sorare, sign up with my link in the description below and you'll get free credits, £50 or dollars or whatever your currency is, or free credits after you've bought your first 5 cards at auction. So it's a great deal. It helps you out. It helps me out as well. Help me out, basically. Help yourself out. Help your teammates out. Be like N'Golo Kante when he won the Champions League with Chelsea. Be like Kante and use my link below. Helps me out, helps you out, all of that good stuff. So let's start off with chapter 1. Should you start with in-season or should you start with classic cards? Right, gang, here we are in the homepage of Sorare. This is what, as of today, the Sorare homepage looks like. Sorare 26 is about to start in about a week. So it's all very exciting. And this is what the homepage looks at the moment. If you scroll down on the homepage, there's a kind of section here. My head's kind of covering it a little bit, but it says your next game week or next game week. And you click it. And it takes you to this kind of competitions builders page where it shows you the live competition, the one that's about to come up. And for today's video, I'm just going to go on this one, which will be game week 1 of Sorare 26. So this will be the first week of Sorare 26, game week 1, August the 15th to the 19th. And at the top, these are the available competitions that you can play. They're all the competitions that you can possibly enter. So how it works is there's 2 types of card. In season, those are cards that have been made for Sorare 26 and just that season from 2025 to 2026. Within that structure, in season, so it'll be the Premier League season that's just about to begin. They're selling these in-season cards, and this is what they look like. João Pedro here, Marco Correa here. These are in-season cards for the upcoming season. They don't have a face yet because they're early access cards. I bought them very early, and they haven't got their faces yet, but they'll be coming soon, in a few weeks, I imagine. And this is what an old card looks like. This is a Cole Palmer card from like 2 seasons ago. So this isn't even last season's Cole Palmer. This is 2 seasons ago. Now, with every in-season lineup that you build, you have to have 4 in-season cards. Well, you can have 5 if you want, but you're allowed to play 1 classic card. So in-season cards are the brand new cards. Classic cards are any card from the past. Any Cole Palmer card, even the one at Manchester City, you can play it as a classic Chelsea card right now. So that's in-season v classic. And here you can see I'm playing a classic Nottingham Forest goalkeeper, Matt Sells, with 4 in-season cards alongside him. Most of the competitions are in-season, but in-season cards are more expensive than classic cards because the best prizes are in the in-season competitions. The best prizes usually being cash prizes. That's usually what people want. The best prizes are cash. You can also win cards. You can also win essence that allows you to craft your own in-season cards. So those are the best prizes, and these are all in-season competitions at the top. So if you have, say, MLS cards and you want to play in the MLS competition, you click on the MLS thing and then you can build, here you go, add an MLS season. MLS is a little bit of a exception to the rule because MLS is not quite within the European structure. So they're about to end their season in a few months. So there's still a classic version of the MLS League where you can play classic MLS cards. In all of the other competitions like the Premier League, the French League, Spanish League, you can only play in season. It used to be you could play classic in there too, but for Sorare 26, they've changed it. So in season Premier League only, you're playing against people with other in-season Premier League cards, and that's it. Only Premier League cards you'll be playing against. So there are league-specific competitions. Then you get to the leagues that are classic. So these 3 leagues aren't classic. Champion, Challenger, and Contender. Basically, Sorare have grouped all of their leagues into 3 regions. Champion are like the top 5 leagues in Europe. And also, if ever you're uncertain about which leagues and which cards can you play in these competitions, if you just click on one, like Champion, for example, it shows you here eligible cards. It shows you the rules. It doesn't say anything about in-season on some of them, and it says in-season in some others. So it basically tells you here the leagues that you can play: Premier League, Bundesliga, Spanish League, French League, and Serie A. If you go to the French League, it should say you can only play with French League cards. It says players permitted from Ligue 1. Only French cards in that one. And Contender is kind of the lower scoring leagues, the kind of less famous and less popular leagues, and Challengers kind of those leagues in between. Under 23 League is a classic competition. So you can play any cards under 23 years old, classic. So it doesn't have to be in season. If you want to play a classic competition, you can play under 23s. All-Star, you can play any cards you want. So I imagine it's going to be a predominantly classic cards are going to get played there from any league in the world. You put all of them together into All-Star competitions. In All-Star, you need to build 7 cards, not 5 like in the in-season competitions. You need 5 cards. In All-Stars, you can see even these bigger lineups you need to build. You need to have 7 cards, but they can be old cards. So if you see here the rules, there's nothing about in-season here. You can play classic cards here. So this is where you will play your classic. That's where I'll be playing my classic cards. And then these last 2 arenas, so you'll be earning essence. And with essence, you can build cards, craft your own in-season cards with essence that you win from classic competitions. That's quite nice, right? Another thing you can do with your essence is you can enter the arena with essence. So you pay a little bit of essence and you can enter the arena, which has like rules where you play classic cards again, but you gotta fit them within a restriction of 260 point cap. So the L15 of all your players' scores have to be under 260 points. You can play in the arena. Then there's an uncapped arena mode, which is arena uncapped, where there's no rules about having to fit L15 of a certain number of your players. Play anyone there. I think people are going to play these lineups when they've got really good cards, when they've got good fixtures that game week. And then if they've got kind of average fixtures, I imagine they're going to play an all-star. Where do you start? Where do you begin? So I've shown you where you play your cards, in-season and classic. There's no guaranteed way. A lot of people will say in-season is the only thing to be interested in Sorare, because that's where the biggest cash prizes are. With these classic competitions, like All-Star, for example, you can't win any cash. Another good thing to do is go into all of the competitions you're interested in and look at the prize pool. So here, if you finish between 1st and 80th, you win a star card. If you finish in the top 300, you win a tier 1 card. And these are in-season cards. So you can play with old cards. And if you do really well, you get 7 good scoring cards that week. And you finish in the top, if you finish in the top 1,000 people, you're going to win an in-season card. And if you've got a really good strategy, you've got a really good set of players. You've got some guys from the Brazilian league. You've got some guys from Belgium. You've got 2 Premier League guys. And you've got a Scottish card that no one else has in the Scottish league, who you know is going to be really good this game week. You put them all together and you finish in the top 1,000. You win an in-season card. And if you do that 5 times, technically, you then win 5 in-season cards and you can play in one of the other competitions. And if you go further down, you can see if you finish in the top 2,000, you win Essence. 1,000 Essence, by the way, allows you to essentially craft 1 in-season card. So there is value to playing classic old cards because you win in-season cards or you win Essence, which then allows you to make in-season cards. So classic cards are useful, in my opinion. This is all my opinion, and I'm going to say how I started playing Sorare. There are different ways to play Sorare. It depends what your kind of drive is and how long you're in this game for. If you just want to play Sorare for 1 season and then you want to get out as quickly as possible, you just want to throw a load of money in, see what you can win, and then leave, sail off into the sunset, that's fine. I'd probably recommend in season and play for 1 season, make as much cash as you can, cash out at the end, sail off into the sunset. However, if you've been watching my channel for a while, or you've seen my videos, or you want to play Sorare at a bit more of a slower pace, you want to understand the gameplay, you want to get your feet under the desk, and you kind of want to slowly play the game, build collections, add cards, pick a card who's injured, and who you know when he's fit, he's going to be really good, so his price is a bit lower right now, and you want to play that kind of patient, slow approach. I think there's nothing wrong with buying old classic cards because they're cheaper, a lot cheaper than the in-season cards, and you can kind of learn the game. Playing this 7-a-side all-star classic, I think, can be a great way for new players. Learn the game, learn how the scoring metric works. The best way to learn playing Sorare is by actually playing Sorare. And yes, you can go in straight away with in-season cards and you can win cash, but if you're a beginner and you don't really know Sorare, there is a possibility you could play in season and not win anything, because there's going to be players in season like me, like other people, who are all we all want these big cash prizes. So you're going to be playing against experienced Sorare players. So you're not guaranteed, just because you choose to play in season, that doesn't necessarily mean you're guaranteed to win cash prizes every weekend. It's very competitive. So what would my advice be? As you can probably tell, there's no definitive rule. There's no you should definitely start in season, you should definitely start with classic. Best prizes are in season, but in season cards are more expensive. Personally, what I did when I started Sorare, there wasn't in season and classic. What I did was there was a capped league when I first started, cap 250, where you had to get really cheap cards, all with a low score in the last couple of weeks, and then you try and put them in battle against other people playing in the same competition with low scoring cards, and you try and win a few little cash prizes. So I try to think, what would I do if I was in this, if I just started Sorare now? If I look at how my cautious approach was at the beginning, I think I'd do a little bit of both. I think I'd maybe have, it depends on how your budget is. If you've got a really small budget, I think I'd start with old cards, classic cards, and then try and get an idea of the game, and then that might make you fall in love with Sorare, and then you might want to put more money into the game and then buy in-season cards. That could be an approach. I think a nice, healthy approach to start off with would be play both. Have maybe 1 in-season lineup and 1 classic lineup. Or maybe 2 classic lineups, 1 in-season, or 2 in-season, 1 classic. If you've got a bigger budget to spend and you're looking at in-season prices right now and you're thinking, these are fine, I would recommend just play in season. If that's your kind of attitude, if that's your kind of budget, if you're kind of if you don't think the prices are a bit too high for the in-season cards and you think you can build 1 or 2 good lineups, I'd go in season. But what I'm hearing a lot of is people saying, I don't want to pay that much. I want to, that seems too expensive. And I think a reason why people say that is because they don't quite get the game yet. It seems expensive, but as with most things in life, you kind of get what you pay for. So those cards are priced at that price, usually for a reason. Usually they're cards that smash every week, get high scores. Someone like Salah, someone like that kind of a player will cost you. Let's use Salah as an example. If you wanted an in-season Salah card from auction right now. This card has got 2 minutes left on auction. We'll just look at limited cards only, so it's like a fair comparison. Salah is just about to be sold for £127. If that's in season, so whoever's buying that card can play Salah in season competitions. However, let's look at the secondhand market where you can get a Salah card not in season, an old Salah card to play in the all-star lineup, and you can see here there's one going for £35. So there's quite a drop off between in season and classic. Now the reason why is because you can only play this guy in either as your one card in season or as a classic card in the all-star competition. Sorare will do special competitions, by the way. Every now and again, Sorare do these special competitions that they usually surprise us with, and lots of them are with classic cards. They're like, pick 5 classic cards from these teams under this L15 score, and you can, let's see who wins. So they'll do things like that. So that's another thing to keep an eye on. Classic cards can be quite useful for special competitions that are random. But in general, if you're going to buy a classic card, I think you're buying it for All-Star, or you're buying it as your one card to play with your in-season cards. So that's a little guide on in-season v classic. There is no definite one you should play with. I wouldn't listen to anyone that's telling you only play in-season, and I wouldn't listen to anyone that's saying only play classic. I think there's a nice healthy balance to find where you can possibly play with both. If you've got the budget, I'd recommend in-season. However, if you want to learn the game, I think classic could be a nice cheaper way to learn the game. Once you're feeling more confident, once you've got the rules, got the scoring matrix, because the Sorare scoring matrix is a lot more different to games like FPL, where it's a bit more simple, goals and assists. Sorare is a bit more complicated than that, so a good way to learn might be with classic cards. I have been playing for 2 years, and I'm going to be playing both. I'm going to be starting off Sorare 26 with Premier League in-season cards, and I'm not going to be playing in any of the other leagues, and then we'll get to which leagues you should play next. I'm just going to start with Premier League in season, and then I'm going to be playing all of my classic cards. I'm going to be having a lot of fun with them and playing with them in the All-Star competition, because everyone seems to be obsessed with on social media about Sorare. Cash, cash, cash. Win, win, win. Cash, cash, cash. I think Sorare is a really fun game. It's not all about winning cash. Only a few people can win the cash each week. You've got to have fun with it. You've got to find a way to make Sorare fun. I like Santos Laguna in Mexico. They're my favorite Mexican team, and they're terrible. They finished bottom of the league for the last 2 years in a row. I've still got loads of Santos cards, and you can see this week I built this lineup. My top lineup this week is this is a classic lineup, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I put 5 Santos cards in there because I like to watch the games, and it's so much more fun if I've got some Sorare cards on the game, and I can kind of go, oh, he's making a lot of forward passes. Maybe I should have a little look at him. So make Sorare fun. It's not all just about winning cash. If you think that, you're going to get so stressed when you don't win cash one weekend. So classic's a good way at kind of just having fun with the game. In season's a bit more, let's win some cash. Okay, so that's my take on that. If you've got any questions, if you've got any thoughts, get in contact with me. Message me on X, Discord, YouTube comments. Jump in the comments if you've got questions, and I'll try and answer it as quickly as I can. Let's now talk about which league should you start with? Which league's cards should you pick cards from? Right, gang. The second thing to think about when you're thinking, where do I start on Sorare? Which cards do I start off with? Is the leagues. So I've told you about in-season v classic. That's one thing I think you need to think of first, probably before you think of the leagues. Think of your strategy. Do I want to go in-season? Do I want to go classic? Or do I want to do a bit of both? Then you go to the league. What league do you want to play with? Now, it's a very common piece of Sorare advice that you'll see everywhere. It's plastered all over the place. And that is people saying, play the league that you enjoy the most. Play the league, pick your favorite team. If you're a Aston Villa fan, go start off with some Aston Villa cards. Or if you like the Spanish league, you watch lots of La Liga, that's your league that you watch the most, play with La Liga. And whilst that's a good bit of advice, sure, I think that's probably advice that most people will do naturally. You'll probably go to the league that you know the most about. And if you don't, then here's that piece of advice. That's the first bit of advice. Pick the league you like watching the most. I'm going to say, as someone that's been playing for a few years, If you have a curiosity about a league, so let's say, for example, I'm just looking at game week 1 of Sorare 26. These are the leagues available. The Belgian league. I don't know much about the Belgian league. Let's say I have a slight curiosity about the Belgian league and I want to know more about it and I want to get into it. Picking Sorare cards, 5 Sorare cards from that league and making a lineup to play in that league will get you into that league. You'll suddenly become really interested in the Belgian league. You'll be watching games. You'll be looking at scores. You'll be reading news stories. You'll be following people on social media talking about those leagues. You'll get into it. So it's the best way to get into a new league. Like, so if you've got a league that you want to watch more of, I'd recommend maybe getting Sorare cards in that league, because I started off in the Premier League and a few European leagues that I knew about. But over the years, I've kind of picked up a few cards from other teams, other leagues, and now I'm tracking those leagues. I'll give you an example. Last season, I bought a whole bunch of Monaco cards. I'm not a Monaco fan. I've never really had an affinity with Monaco as a team, as a city, anything. I've never been to Monaco. And I wasn't watching that much French league football before last season. I watched the occasional game here and there, but I wasn't watching that much. But I won some cash last year on Sorare, and I then reinvested it in a Monaco collection because they're in the Champions League. I didn't have any French cards. I thought it might be a fun league to enter, and I wanted to watch more. Let me tell you, I watched every single Monaco game for like 2/3 of the season last year. As soon as I got my Monaco cards, I watched every single Monaco game. I now know all about the team, all the first team players, the bench players. I know the transfers that they've made this season. I'm very excited because they've got Pogba, Eric Dyer, Ansu Fati have joined them this season. So I'm now excited to play with my Monaco cards in the classic competition. I've not sold them because of the whole in-season classic debate. That's another thing to think about your in-season cards. You're going to have them for a while. If you don't sell them, you can play them in Classic next season. So pick teams and cards that you kind of want to play with for more than just one season if you're going to keep them. So that was my thinking with Monaco. They're a really young, hungry squad. And I thought, if I buy these cards, some of these guys are going to be top players for years to come. I can follow their careers around the world. And I started watching a lot more French league football. I started looking at the league table. I started knowing who the movers and shakers in France are. So pick the league, yes, that you like the most. That's a good starting tip. If you're a Premier League fan, pick a Premier League lineup because you'll know more about those cards. But part of the beauty of Sorare is also pick a league that you might want to watch more. And it goes the other way. If you don't want to watch any French football, don't pick any French cards. Even if you think, it's fine, I'll just buy a Marseille collection. I'll buy 5 guys from Marseille and I don't have to watch the games. I don't have to watch the results. I'll just put these guys out every week and they'll do well. No. You'll get into it. You'll get sucked in, trust me. So pick the leagues that you want to watch more of as well. Maybe that is also to do with your time zone. If you're not going to be awake when the Japanese games are happening, maybe don't go for Japanese cards. Or if you don't want the stress of watching the game live, you just want to wake up and see the scores, maybe go for the Japan's game if it's not in your time zone, because then you don't have to have the stress of, how are they doing? You can just wake up and look at your phone and go, that's how they did. So it depends on your kind of risk appetite, how much you want to get into Sorare is the league you should probably pick. I also want to say that a lot of people will tell you, pick the league you like the best, pick your team. But if you're a Manchester United fan, if you're a Liverpool fan, those cards are a little bit expensive. Liverpool cards, Manchester City cards, Arsenal cards, these are quite expensive cards. So if you're an Arsenal fan and everyone's telling you just pick your favorite team to start off with, but you've only got a budget of £100. If you've got a budget of £100 and you want to play in season and you want to play with and you're an Arsenal fan and everyone tells you, just play with your favorite team, you're not going to get much in season for £100 as of now, ahead of Sorare 26 as an Arsenal fan. Bukayo Saka would be probably the best scoring Arsenal player maybe this year. Maybe there's some others. I've not thought about the Gyökeres could be maybe Odegaard. Maybe the defenders are pretty solid, Saliba and Gabriel. Okay, but let's just take Saka, for example. You probably want him in your ideal 5 Arsenal players. At the moment, he's on auction going for £108. So you can't afford that. So if you support a team or a really popular team, I'm a Chelsea fan. And when I first started playing Sorare, or if I started playing right now as a Chelsea fan, I probably wouldn't be able to afford a Chelsea with my kind of initial starting budget. I probably wouldn't have gone that route. So, I wouldn't say or necessarily pick it if you support, say, a team in like Belgium or a team in a mid-table team in the Eredivisie. By all means, pick your team and you'll enjoy following them. But if you support a very famous team, you don't have to go for your team. If you're an Arsenal fan, you might know a lot about the Premier League because you're an Arsenal fan, and then you might want to go for the not your team but your league. You might go, okay, I'm a Premier League fan. I know that Bournemouth are usually a good team. Brighton are usually a good team. I think Everton are going to have a good season this year from XYZ. I think this team, use your Premier League knowledge and then try and find players that work with your budget. I made another Sorare guide about how to value cards, how to split your budget, how to think of budgeting cards. Go check that video if you want more of a kind of how to spend your money, how much a card should be worth, all of that sort of stuff. That's another video. But that's the thing to think about as well. Don't go for your team if it's going to break your budget and you're going to have to spend a lot of money. It's a balance. So don't go for your team if it's expensive. If it isn't expensive, it's quite a good thing to go for. Or go for a team that you like. Bear in mind that a lot like the league, if you pick, say, a team like I did with Monaco, it's probably going to become your team. Monaco is kind of my French team now because of Sorare. I've got other teams in other leagues around the world, and they've kind of become my teams in those leagues. Like Tigres are kind of my second Mexican team now, mainly because of Sorare. I like the kits as well, and I like that Gignac was playing there when I first started watching Mexican football. But it helped that I bought a whole bunch of Sorare cards from Tigres, and now I feel more attached to them. So I think that's how you choose your team. A team that you like, if it's not too expensive and fits your budget, or a team that you want to like, a league that you want to like, or you can also just pick a random team. It doesn't have to be a team you like. You can just pick a random league. So if we go back to the leagues are different prices. Premier League cards are the most expensive cards. So if you're playing on a budget and you don't want to start and you want to play in season, Premier League is going to be the most expensive place to go. Now, I should say the best cash prizes are in Premier League. So yes, it's the most expensive league to join because it's the most popular league in the world, but it also has the best prizes. You can see here, there's 41k in the Premier League pot. There's 32k in the Liga 1 and the French League. There's 16k in the Belgian League. So there's less cash to be won in the Belgian League. However, the Belgian cards in season are cheaper. And that might be a kind of middle ground. How I said earlier, if you don't want to go straight to in-season because it's too expensive, you want to start off with Classic. Maybe a strategy for you would be, I'm going to start in-season, but in one of these leagues. In either the Belgian League, the Eredivisie, or the MLS, where the cash prizes are smaller, but the cards are cheaper. These leagues are a bit more expensive, and this league's the most expensive. So you've got to find your budget. I'd recommend looking at find your budget, go to the auction. If you want to go in season, go to the auction and go, okay, can I afford 5 cards in this league? If you can't afford them in the Premier League, don't stress too much. Go down a league and go Belgian League. Okay, I'm going to go in the Belgian League. Can I put 5 good scoring cards in the Belgian League? I can. Cool. Start off in the Belgian League or start off with Classic in All-Star and just go from there. One lineup. Maybe you win some cash. Maybe that makes you feel good. And then you can use that cash to start saving for other cards, maybe in another league. Until then, you keep playing the Belgian League. Keep churning cash prizes, small little cash prizes. Hot streaks are here in Sorare 26, where you can get small little cash prizes that incrementally go up as if you stay on the hot streak track. Otherwise, you go back to 1, start again. That could be an approach as well. So there's no correct answer. This is my conclusion of the video. It's quite funny that this is the conclusion. There is no correct cards to start off with. There's no definitive way. If there was, everybody would be doing it and everybody would be just beating the game. So there's no way. Use your football brain. Use what advantage you have. What's your advantage? What league do you watch the most of? That's your advantage. What league is on TV at a good time for you, where you're like, that game, I'm always seeing games from that league on TV. I've got the channel, for example, that shows Belgian games. I've got the channel that shows Spanish football. Use what you have. Use your advantage. Go, okay, I used to play a lot of Football Manager, for example, and I used to manage a team in Belgium, so I know all about them. So I'm going to go for that team. Whatever advantage you have, use that, because everyone's using their knowledge, their football brains to try and outdo each other. That's what you've got to start off with. So there is no correct answer. I hope all the little bits I've given you in this video have at least been useful, even though I've concluded it with there's no correct answer, in season or classic, which league to join. There's no definitive answer. Have fun with it. Don't stress so much about, I want to win cash. I want to win cash. I want to win cash. I need to win my cash. Don't play the game desperately trying to win your cash back that you invested. That's not going to make you happy. Trust me. I was stressing when I first started playing. I would stress so much that I've not won the cash back that I invested in the game. No. I've learned, put money into the Sorare that you can afford to lose. Then just enjoy playing the game. It's fun. Trust me. I've been playing for a few years now and it's still fun. And when it stops being fun, stop playing, because you should have not put money in that you couldn't have not afforded. You should have been putting money that you're happy to lose into the game. And then you can sell your cards when you want to leave, and you'll probably take a bit of a hit, but take out what you can, cash out and leave the game. But if you're having fun, like I still am 2 years into the game, just keep playing, keep having fun. That's my advice. I hope this guide's been slightly useful in any way. I'll see you next time. I make weekly videos on Sorare. I've also got a new Premier League review show about Sorare and reviewing the Premier League games, which is going to be every Monday live on my channel. I make a lot of content about Sorare. Give us a like, a subscribe, all of that good stuff. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Good luck buying your first Sorare cards. Peace.